guys, welcome back to another episode of Male Spouse Monologues. So as promised, today I will be telling you about my first experience with PCS Move. So for those of you who don't know, again, what PCS means, it is the acronym for Permanent Change of Station. Now, like I said in my last video with my husband, I don't understand the concept of PC of permanent, I guess you could say, because none of these station orders are ever really permanent. Like none of these duty stations are permanent. You do have those exceptions where you might get lucky and you could be at a duty station for multiple tours back to back, 6 years, 8 years, some people do get lucky like that. But majority of the time, these duty station, assignments, only last 2 to 3 years, and then you're moving again. So, I really think they should reconsider that acronym. But anyways, so my husband and I were previously living in Pensacola, and he got orders to Mississippi. That's where we're currently stationed. And if you know anything about orders, you know that they can change at any given moment. There's verbal orders and then there's hard copy orders. So, verbal orders are like, tentatively, this is where you're going. But, again, it's really not set in stone until you get those hard copy orders. And even when you get hard copy orders, sometimes those change too. Nothing is ever really static in the Navy or in any kind of branch of the military until it's actually static. Like that's the best way to say it. Nothing is actually set in stone until it's set in stone. So you always have to be flexible because you never know what change might come, what decision that they may make to move you somewhere else or to do something different. You just got to always be ready. So we found out right before our PCS date that my husband, had to go to school in Virginia. So he will be gone for a month. So with that being said, I would have to do the PCS move by myself because when he got out of school, he would have to report straight to the new duty station. So again, this is my first one. So I was a little nervous because I was like, I haven't done this before. And because I've heard so many horror stories of other people's PCS nightmares that I was like, Lord, I really hope that I don't have any crazy stuff happen while my husband is not here. So something crazy did happen. So I kind of jinxed myself, I guess. So the way that the process works is once you have your orders, you set up your moving date, your pack out date, and your move date. There's a group of people who come and pack up everything in your house, your apartment. They box it all up. And then a few days later or a couple of days later or however you have it set up, the actual movers come and pick up all of the boxes and all of your stuff, put it on the truck, and they take it to the final destination. Now, that process can be lengthy depending on where you're going, like how far away your new duty station is from your current duty station, how many runs that the moving company may have in between your stuff. Like it can be a long process. And for some people, it can take, all kinds of long amounts of weeks or whatever. Thankfully for us, it was only a 2-hour move. So it was pretty seamless. So I was packing up, or not packing up, but cleaning up in preparation for the movers to come. The packers had already came. They had already put all of our stuff in boxes. So I was just getting rid of stuff that we didn't need, just extra stuff that was around the house. And I was walking down the stairs. It was a Sunday. I'll never forget. I was walking down the stairs of our apartment and I had a trash can full of junk in my hand. So I'm going down the stairs and I end up falling like down those last few stairs and landed on like the side of my foot/ankle. And it hurt so bad, like it was so bad. So I'm like limping to the trash can with the stuff in my hand and limping back up the stairs. So I sit down, mind you, again, I'm by myself. My husband is already gone. There's nobody else there with me. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching football. And then I try to get up and I can't put any weight on that foot. So I'm like, okay, let me just chill out. So as I'm sitting there, my foot starts to swell. So I was like, okay, well, let me just put some ice on it. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll put some ice on it. And it's probably just shaken up from, when I landed on it wrong, it'll be fine. So I'm like, I'm just gonna put some ice on it. The swelling will go down and I'll be fine. So a couple hours pass and the swelling has not gone down. It has actually gotten worse. So now my foot is huge. Like the side of my foot is like, it blew up like a balloon. So now I'm like freaking out. So I said, okay, looks like I'm gonna have to go to urgent care because again, it's Sunday. The doctor's office isn't open. So I limp myself to the car, drive to urgent care. I get there, and when I get there, of course, the lady at the front desk is like, wow, that looks bad. Let me put you in a wheelchair. So they put me in the wheelchair. I'm there, go through all the x-rays, the whole nine. Come to find out, I had I can't remember what the exact word for it was, but basically, let's just say it was an extremely bad sprain. So when I left there, I left in a walking boot on crutches because I literally could not put any weight on my foot whatsoever. So I had, I'm limping out of there on these crutches, and I have to drive home. So I put the crutches in the passenger side. Thankfully, it was my left foot, so I was still able to drive with my right. And of course, the nurse is like, well, you need to make sure you have someone who can drive you around because you can get pulled over. And in my head, I'm like, lady, look, it's just me right now. So, I understand your concern, but I can't really do that right now. So I go home. And again, this is literally the week of the PCS move. So a couple of days later, the movers come to move all the boxes and stuff out of the house and load them onto the truck. And so while they're there, I'm still trying to clean stuff up in my walking boots, still trying to clean stuff, still trying to make sure the apartment is, in good condition before we leave it. And the movers are like kind of fussing at me like, ma'am, you should probably be sitting down. You probably shouldn't be doing anything. Like, I think you should chill out. We have this under control. But anybody who knows me knows that I need to know what's going on. I need to make sure everything is going according to the way that I want it to be going. I need to make sure that my house is clean and in order, because I'm not going to leave my apartment a mess just because I'm in a walking boot. Like, I got this, you know what I'm saying? So it also happened to be on a week that I was taking a class. So I wasn't even going straight to our new place yet. I still had another week that I would be in a hotel because I was going to this class in another area of Florida. So thankfully the movers get everything out. I'm able to clean everything up and get out of there, on time and with no issues. So I go to my class. It's a week long. And then I get to the new duty station. And again, like I said, this whole time I'm solo. Nobody's with me. My husband's not there. And that's, it's just me riding it out, me and my crutches, getting it done. And then we get to the new place, and the movers, were great. Like I said, they helped me they really were, an excellent group of people. And thankfully, I didn't have any broken, none of my furniture was broken or messed up, which is rare because, like I said, sometimes these PCS moves can be hell because they can lose stuff, break stuff. It can go really bad. So thankfully, it was smooth going, except for me being on crutches, everything went smoothly. So then my mom, thank God, ended up coming on the day that they were moving me into the apartment. So that way she was like, she said, I know that you can't do this by yourself. There's no way you're going to be able to settle in on crutches. You can't unpack a bunch of boxes. So thankfully she showed up. And when I first got here, y'all, the apartment, there was like, I'm just gonna say there was a pest issue that had to be dealt with. So I'm like on crutches. The movers are literally here trying to move stuff in. And then we got this pest issue that I'm trying to deal with. Like, it was insane. I was like, this is ridiculous. So, I called the leasing office. I'm, trying not to go off on these people. Like, yo, y'all need to come fix this because this is like ridiculous. So thankfully they end up getting it taken care of. And, we get, that little problem, under control, and then eventually it's completely settled or whatever. But thankfully my mom was able to come and we were able to get everything unpacked and settled in by the end of the weekend. So my husband hadn't seen the place, didn't even know where we were living because I literally did everything without him. I told him where we were, the neighborhood and stuff. And so when he came back, everything was all settled and everything. So I'd say all in all, it was pretty successful. But man, listen, it's definitely ideal if you can have your spouse around to do this process with you because, being on crutches and trying to move a whole apartment and then trying to unpack and everything, like, bro, I was stressed. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was stressed out. But the thing is, this is normal in our life, A lot of people think, oh, you guys are resilient, you can handle it. And while that may be true, it's extremely frustrating. Like, to sometimes have to do these moves on our own. And then thankfully I didn't have kids in the mix, you know what I'm saying? And having kids in the mix makes it even more complicated. So shout out to all you mamas out there who do these kind of things with kids all by yourselves. Like, shout out to y'all, because it's no joke. But all in all though, I will say that, even though the PCS process can be a little stressful, you can get some great, some great stories out of it, clearly. And, you know, we get the luxury of sometimes moving to some pretty awesome places. I mean, for example, right now we have verbal orders to San Diego, California. I am praying that that doesn't change. But again, with the Navy, with the military, you never know. But if that happens, I'm gladly, I mean, whatever comes with the PCS, it's just gonna happen, because I can't wait for the thought of living in sunny San Diego on the West Coast. Like, it's gonna be awesome. Again, pending that nothing changes, you know. So of course, once that time happens, I'll tell you guys all about that, let you know how that goes, because it'll be a much longer move from Mississippi to California than it was from Florida to Mississippi. So like I said, man, all in all, the whole PCS thing, you know, is tricky, you know what I mean? And one thing I've learned is to make sure that, you know, with the furniture you buy, make sure you get stuff that you're okay with it being messed up or lost or broken or whatever. You know, you just have to kind of do that until you guys reach retirement, because you just never know. Or get really, really expensive quality furniture that will withstand the crazy moves and stuff, because these movers, they don't really care about your stuff. You know, they're just there to do a job, you know. So, you know what I'm saying? That was my story. Again, it was the first one. Who knows what the next one or two or whatever will be like. And like I said, I've heard some horror stories. So thankfully mine was a little on the mellow side compared to other stories that I've heard. But the PCS process, man, you got love it or hate it. Most of us hate it, but it is what it is. So thank you guys for listening to me ramble on about this whole PCS process that I went through, the first one anyway. And as you can see, I made it through. We're good. My foot is not broken anymore, or whatever it was, sprained. I'm walking back on 2 feet. Everything is good. So the next video, I'm not quite sure yet what I want to talk to you guys about next. But I will let you know once I decide what the topic will be. I'm kind of teeter-tottering between friendships and deployments. We'll see, because, you know, my husband has a deployment coming up soon. This will be our first time going through a deployment together. So I may have someone on with me to kind of tell me or talk about their experiences with deployments and how their experiences have been like. And then kind of talk about how I'm preparing for us to go through our first one. So maybe that'll be the next one. Or I may decide to talk about, like I said, friendships and, you know, just having friendships as a military spouse, you know, with other spouses, and then with people, your old friends, you know, just kind of that dynamic. So I don't know which one it's going to be yet. I think I'll just leave you guys, you know, in wait, and I'll let you know later what I decide to come up with. But thanks again for listening to me ramble about this. If you have any input or any stories you want to share regarding your PCS experiences, it's not too late. You can leave it in the comments. Let me know. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like us on Facebook and Instagram. And I look forward to talking to you guys soon.